Hello, Paul. This is Paul Cundiff. Just wanted to go over your boat with you a little bit. We are working on, at the same time that we're getting started on it, we are also working on your quotes, so your estimate. So what I wanted to show you, we're kind of at a turning point here. We calculated what it's going to take to stain this and try to get the color right. This has been, as we talked before, this has been stripped of paint or of varnish and then revarnished without any stain, and this would have had a stain. The other thing that you can see as you look down through this is a lot of divots. This was not block sanded. Probably a machine sander was used, and every time that it changed direction, here's a pretty deep divot right here. Every time this thing changed direction, it dug a little bit. So you see a lot of irregularity. Now we could spend your money and we could get rid of some of that if we just do maintenance coats on this. But if we another thought I had was to actually, you might want to consider stripping and refinishing on this guy. And I'll tell you why. But anyway, because we're going to spend, you'll see the number, but we're going to spend a considerable amount of money to do this wrong, and we can spend about that much money again and do this right. So one thing you're going to notice right here is, see how when somebody sanded away, they got through whatever color's on here, and you got this little light section. That's because this is mismatched. This plank right here is higher than this plank, and what's happening is it's starting to come loose. If I push on this, you can see it doesn't move a lot, but this bottom plank's moving some, moving in some, and you can see this going on right here as well. You can see that this plank's higher. So what we recommend when we have this situation is not sanding it down, but refastening. We pull these plugs out, and we tighten the screws, and if the screw spins, we put a larger screw in and so forth. And so you actually your boat really needs to be what's called refastened. And we got a spot here, we got another spot here, we got a spot here. We could, I suppose, selectively refasten, but that's really not, it can still end up just wasting the money because you're not getting it right. We really ought to refasten the whole thing to do this right. All right, so to do it right, we would pull all the bungs, we'd refasten it, and then the other thing we do is, the other thing you'll notice here is there's a high spot here. These two planks are at the same level, but there's a high spot right at the seam, and you can especially see it right there, a high spot at the seam. Then there might be some open seams in places. These seams have opened and closed again as the humidity goes up. They'll open in the wintertime when it's in the dry, and then they'll close again in the summertime. And anything that's trapped in between here gets squished out, whether that be varnish or whatever. So if we're going to go to the trouble of refastening, we ought to just go ahead and pull the planks off, and we'll rebed them in black 5200, and you'll never deal with the plank seams opening and closing again. That's about a 10-year-old, maybe 15-year-old technology now, invented by the Miklos boys that worked on Centuries. And I've seen boats that they've done, and it looks really good. So we'll provide you with the pricing for that. But I just wanted to show you, where you have a mismatch here. The planks are, that's from needing refastening. The planks are coming loose. The high planks are. So, of course, then we're going to give you a price on the bottom. That you'll see that in the quote. Price on the gauges. And, of course, we've already talked about the upholstery, but we'll put all that in one tamale, because I know we've given you all the little pieces, and I don't know if you've been doing the math back there or not. So we'll do the math for you and tell you what we think the total's gonna be. Again, I would suggest just going ahead and going for broke and getting it over with, rather than spend half as much money, or almost half as much money, to do it wrong. The other thing that I want to make sure that we're in agreement on is your boat originally had white paint just above the spray rail here, and then also back here it had white paint above the trim back here. So we're planning on going back with the white paint, is our plan, unless you tell us to do different. And that's about it for today. Thank you, sir.